right. Well, good morning and good afternoon and good evening. We've established, Brad.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yes, it's afternoon right now. Gotcha. Well, today is a special day, Brad.
It sure is. I'm so excited.
We have a guest on that we're about to introduce, and I think we can just introduce him by his show name, his show nickname.
His stage name.
Step Daddy Ron has joined the show. Welcome, Ron. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing this morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Well, I said this before we started recording, and I know no one can see this. We'll have to post a picture of all three of us because I swear we all look like we could be related to each other. It looks like, I'm just going to describe it. It looks like Ron is me and Brad if we merged into one person.
Yes.
I'm just going to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How do you feel about that? Or now that you're seeing us, do you think that's a disrespect?
He's like,
no.
I didn't come on here to be insulted, boys. But
So how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. Yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Both of us, I think all three of us are recording on a day that we are not open to the public, correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, I took the day off, so.
Yeah, you took the day off. So I do want to, okay, well, first off, let's because we want everybody to know who you are. So why don't we go a little backstory first on how long you've been in the jewelry industry and kind of how you got your start, and then that'll launch into some follow-up questions.
Okay. So my father owned a jewelry store in a little suburb of Columbus called Gahanna he opened in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. So it would have been the 80s. And, he had a very successful store, ended up buying a bank in town and then moving and converting that. And then when he went to retire in 2014, myself, my sister, and he opened a new location and started working by appointment.
those bank buildings are so freaking cool.
Oh, man.
They had the vault
I really
and
wish we
everything.
kept it. Oh, yeah. 12 by 12 vault, 4,000 pound door.
Every time if I see a bank that like closes down or is like rebuilding, I'm like, I wonder if how can we pull this off to buy this old bank?
So cool.
It's probably never going to happen.
It won't, especially the way we're going.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows, Brad? That might be our studio one day. Which, by the way, okay, so I don't want to distract from your story, but before we hopped on here, Brad and I agreed, at least temporarily, we're gonna give naming rights to this recording studio that we're in right now, which AKA our shop.
Yep.
But it's from now on until further notice. We're gonna call our studio Stepdaddy Ron Studios. So we appreciate all your contributions. I think you've earned naming rights to our studio.
Absolutely.
There we go.
So hopefully you are flattered by that, because we're gonna do that for a few weeks. Coming live from Stepdaddy Ron Studios. All right. So your dad had a jewelry store, and you were a kid. So you just grew up in the jewelry store business.
Pretty much. I was young when he opened, and I was, 7 or 8, and programming the cash register, the old Casio. I don't know if you remember those old cash registers. Before they had the computerized everything. It was push button. Everything had to be logged in and set up. But yeah, he was in an old dump truck garage that was converted, drywalled and carpeted and had cases. It was a very, kind of a small, nothing shop. And over the years, he got bigger and ended up moving into a bank. It was very successful. We actually had 3 employees move on to open their own stores, which is a testament to my dad, and his ability to train and keep good people.
That's amazing.
So, eventually we opened our own shop by appointment, which was, one of those things that it's kind of a dream. You get rid of all the stuff you don't want and keep the things you do.
Exactly.
And by stuff, you mean customers. Get rid of customers.
If I had my way, I'd sit in a little dark room and just work on stuff all day, engrave and set stones. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to sell our artwork to people eventually at some point to keep doing it.
If you want to eat.
So how long did you work for your dad until you went out on your, or are you on your own?
So what ended up happening, I worked for my dad from 2002 to 2014. When he closed the shop, we were partners, my dad, myself, and my sister. Um, so we eventually bought him out. He's now retired and living that good life
Yeah.
like we all want to live. But it's me and my sister. We're a two-man shop. We have no employees, owners on site. People typically really, really like that because the buck stops here. You end up talking directly to the person. I'm the person executing the design. So it works out really well.
So your sister's with you every day?
She is. She, kind of spearheads most of the customer service and keeps me on track because, I tend to get sidetracked and not want to complete specific tasks. She does all the, banking and bookkeeping, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should I bring my sister in, Brad? Should we get her involved?
Yeah, I don't think it would work that way. I think she'd be great though, because I know she listens to the
yeah.
podcast. So she'd be awesome.
When we're done recording, we'll say what we really think. No, I'm just kidding. She's great. Jeez. Both of my sisters are great. All my siblings are fantastic. For the record, so I'm on the record of saying I love all of them so much.
Gotcha.
All right, so it's been you and your sister so y'all immediately, when you started, just immediately went by appointment pretty much?
That's correct. Yeah. Initially, we were pretty loose with our appointments and kind of worked around customer, time frames. But as time went on, we kind of realized that, you can't be open 24/7. You can't take an 8 o'clock appointment. You can't take a 7:30 appointment. So we've kind of morphed into a hybrid where we'll take an appointment at 8:30 in the morning, but that's not typical. But usually we take appointments from 9 to 4 Monday through Thursday, and Friday we work 9 to 1. So it's really beneficial for us. We both have kids, so if we need to leave the shop, we can. If we take care of a doctor's appointment or whatever.
Yeah. I think the little bit we've talked outside of this, from what you've described, this is I think it's kind of what me and Brad are going to eventually work towards. I don't think we're quite ready to just make a hard switch. That's why I thought it'd be interesting to have you on, because I do think that is something that I feel like a lot more jewelers are doing, especially the jeweler or the store owners or shop owners that are the ones doing the work and running the shop. I think it just makes our life easier because it's just hard to do both, as me and Brad attest to almost on a weekly basis when we're working on the bench and then have to stop because somebody walked in and needs 7 watch batteries changed or want to shop for a $20 necklace, or et cetera,
Yeah, that's tough. And it really robs you of your creativity and stops you mid-flow, which is big, it's a big problem.
Yeah, I think what's funny is I never consider myself a creative person, but I guess what we do is creative. But then I found once we started doing the bench dealer memes and the podcast, a lot of my creativity goes towards that, which I think is fine because we enjoy doing it. I mean, Brad, you'll have to, speak into this, but it allows us to express ourselves, have some personality that's not just, because I think while we're both working, I mean, we have the luxury, both of us are doing bench work all day, and we're just, while we're working, we're just goofing off, telling stupid stories, sharing stupid content. And so we just thought we'd kind of bring that,
Yeah, it's definitely our outlet, right? So
yeah, because
yeah,
we do have to work
I'm
with the
definitely
public
not
so
creative. I'm definitely
our
just this is the only creativity I have.
I don't know. You should see him. He's working. He's a laser machine over here. He is the laser machine.
Well, all right. Call me C-Smile.
That's his new nickname. Now, speaking of customers and by appointment, so you mentioned how much that obviously makes your life easier to manage, probably a lot happier. But I think it was last night you were sharing with me a client story, a client situation, and I didn't want to tell Brad, so you're going to have to retell everything you were sharing with me. But, even by appointment, you still have those clients who are going to drive you crazy.
We still have pop-ins, and if I'm there, I'll help them. I'm not going to turn them away. Money's money. But last week I had an appointment at 9. I had a customer pickup, and they showed up a little bit early. It's 8:50. It was just a pickup. We cash out. They walk away. It's 8:55. I'm sitting at my desk working on a design, and the doorbell rings. So I walk over, and it's a customer. She wants to discuss a design for her husband. So, we talked briefly, and she leaves, and I didn't really think a whole lot of it. She didn't leave any money. She didn't leave any items. So the following day, she shows up again, right about 9 o'clock without an appointment, and goes back into it, and she's got gold that she wants to use for this custom ring, and she's got five grams of 24 karat. She's got 1.7 grams of 18 karat. She's got 0.7 grams of 14 karat. So she wants this heavy men's ring with a frog on top of it that's jade. So we go through it, and I kind of give her an idea of pricing and what I charge to alloy her gold, pour her gold, CAD her design, print her a wax, so on and so forth. And she kind of agrees and says okay, and she leaves. And flash forward to the following Monday, and she shows up with her husband and her daughter, and they start talking about it. We get more in depth. He tells me exactly what he wants, and I look at him and I say, okay, we're probably looking at about a week on our CAD design, and I'll get back to you. So flash forward a week, it's Monday, and I get to work about 8:30. I'm working on her design. I send out an email, and it's pretty in depth. Goes through pricing and how much it weighs and how much additional gold we're going to need, and so on and so forth. And about 10 minutes later, I have another customer come in. I'm helping them, and it's a custom design. We're going through it, and this lady walks in. She apparently got my email and wanted to chat about it. And my sister was sitting at her desk, and she goes over and talks to my sister, and I can hear her. I'm dealing with my customer, but I can hear her out of the corner of my eye, and she's upset that I'm not free and can't deal with her immediately. She's busy. She's got stuff going on. And
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What a concept.
So go figure. So about an hour later, she leaves her phone number, and at this point, I don't want to call her. I want everything to be in writing, so I'm responding via email. And I sent her an email that basically said, hey, this email is to confirm I worked on your design, and I sent over pricing, and that also I work by appointment. And if you'd like to come in, I'd appreciate it if you come in and set up an appointment for us. So after that, she, gives me the design that she wants weighs 16.5 grams, which we're not going to get to with her gold that I alloy up. We need an additional 5 grams of gold. And she asked me what the price of that gold is, and I quote her $285 a gram for 14 karat, which isn't inexpensive by any means, but it's also not outrageous by industry standards. And she basically gives me that's too much. I don't want to pay that. So she ends up going and she buys a 2.5 gram, little bar from wherever, the coin shop, and brings it in. So she shoots me an email back and says, I really like this design, but it's just too heavy. I'm going to send my husband in, and he's going to try it on. So he comes in, and he's very nice. And don't get me wrong, they're super friendly, and they're nice people. So, they decide that they want to put a heart on one of the sides of the ring and a T on the other to conserve gold, basically straight through shots. And, I'm kind of like, well, this is something that you're going to wear for a long time. Do you want a heart on it forever? It's a men's ring, so that's kind of out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
right.
a
little different. And, he tries it on. And flash forward to the following day. I wake up, it's 7:30 in the morning, and I already have 2 emails from her.
No.
And the one is, he wants it to be wider, but we don't want to spend more money on gold. How are we going to accomplish this task?
Oh yeah, magic.
Yeah. Just I'm going to wave my magic wand. So we ended up the final design after 7 more emails and 2 more stops into the shop ends up being 16 grams, and she ends up going out and buying another bar of gold so that she doesn't have to pay retail on it, which I don't, I get it,
Yeah, whatever.
I'm one to save money myself.
Now you can really jack up that labor price, though.
Well,
which we'll get to it.
The final story is, I did charge them a little additional because I ended up redoing the design and reprinting the model, but I was pretty conservative about my additional charges. I only charged them $150, which, in my eyes seems like a steal after, 37 emails, 8 pop-ins, 4 model prints. It is what it is. But that's kind of custom. And the downside to having a shop that's by appointment is you're dealing with people that can't get into regular jewelry. They won't accept it. They want their own, their own style.
That makes sense.
Which is awesome, and I get to make some really cool pieces, but I also end up making just the most awful things on the planet sometimes. You know, I get a napkin sketch from a guy. One of the pieces that I made that I really, really hated, this, and it's hard to describe, but it's about a 3-inch heart, okay,
Of
in
course
gold.
it is.
And, yep. And we take 5 of her rings that he had gotten her over the years. Some of them were invisible sets, some of them were baguettes.
Of course.
And he wanted all the milli set on the outside of the heart, and then the diamonds coming down from the center of each ring. So there's like a chain of larger bezel set diamonds coming down.
Sounds beautiful.
It was awful. And the whole time, it's one of those like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, are we positive? So, I ended up making it. And about 3 months later, his wife comes in and looks at me and she was like, I can't believe you let him do this.
I know, right?
Like,
this is a testament to why men shouldn't just take things upon themselves and get their wives involved when they want to make something special.
And every man wants to get his wife a heart, and
Yes.
every man should realize it's just not what they want.
So you're a lot nicer than I am because, like, if we get, especially if somebody has like old jewelry and it's got baguettes or a bunch of tiny melly, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, we don't use this. We just flat out say no because I'm not going to sit here and try to measure every single tapered baguette that's 1.5 millimeters long.
Baguettes are the devil. They're my least favorite thing to set. I got to be honest. I mean,
I tell them every baguette is cut specifically for that ring, and we're making a new ring, so now we need new baguettes.
Right.
That's just how it works. We're not using them. Sorry.
This is how it works.
The benefit to using the customer's gold is you open up an avenue for sales. Everybody says when they walk into the store that the people go, we don't use your gold. We don't use your stones. And it opens up labor for me. I end up charging the couple with the frog ring $1,500, and it's all their materials. I'm going to have 6 hours in it, which, I could make more, but that's reasonable pay.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you when you're, it's hard to do this in real time, but if you figure out how, what's the right word? Irritating certain clients are going to be. Well, if you figure it out soon enough, you can incorporate that into the price.
Because they're going to take more of your time. So, it's just...
if we're like 6 emails in and I haven't even given you a price yet, well, thank God, because the price is about to go up because I have to stop and answer and respond. And we're trying to figure all these details out as we move forward as well.
No, absolutely. And you have to, there's like an engineer surcharge as well. Every engineer is like the worst person to work for ever.
I've only had one. Actually, no, we've had 2, but one of the most recent was actually engineering student, which might be worse than an actual engineer who's like in college and they're trying to get engaged.
Yes.
And, they have to ask every, point millimeter, how, well, can you make it 0.2 millimeters wider? And can you make that prong? It's like, sure, buddy, sure. Trying to explain that to an engineer.
Right.
And what they don't understand is you polish, you sand, things change as you go. Very, very minorly, but they do.
Yeah, no, and that's the conversation is like, hey, we can get this cat exactly the way you want it, but once it's time to set stones and polish and file, like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's very good chance it might be a 0.5 millimeter off. It's very possible. Especially if you tell me, because you measured her finger with calipers, what size she is, and then you come to find out it's a whole size or 2 smaller. It's like, well, now we got to change everything, buddy.
Yeah, and you just ran diamonds 3/4 of the way down the shank.
Oh, dude, every single time.
Yep.
I tell you, every time you have diamonds all the way around the shank, it's always the wrong size. Every single time. Never fails.
I want to surprise her with an eternity band.
All right.
Dude, I don't know how you feel about eternity bands. This is a good conversation. How do you feel about eternity bands?
So I actually make a decent amount of money sizing eternity bands because nobody wants to touch them. And
yeah, same.
The problem is you can size them, but you have to size them to a stone. So, you can go down a stone or up a stone. But one of the most expensive sizings I ever did was on a platinum eternity band with it was basically a $1,200 sizing. Put a chunk in, cut it out with a graver, set a baguette in. It turned out perfect, but it's one of those things that's terrible to deal with.
So we, because I hate the idea of doing what you just said. So we usually just create like because our I shouldn't say it's not our policy, but generally speaking, I hate eternity bands because every time they come in, they're always worn out, and they're always going to be, well, I need it bigger, I need it smaller. And so we basically just convinced them, like, hey, we're going to remove a stone and create a sizing piece. And now it's no longer an eternity band. And now when you want to size it up or down again, because you will eventually, now we have somewhere to do that work. So I don't know. I'm sure everybody would probably, be outraged that that's kind of how we handle it. But that's just the way I've chosen to handle it.
And we give them we get their go ahead. Like, we're not
we're not forcing them into it.
Right. It's not like we're saying, oh yeah, it's still going to be an eternity band. They know at that point it's not technically an eternity band.
Yep.
But people.
At that point, we're just dealing with an anniversary band that's sizable.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Win-win-win. I think a couple times I have been able to, because it feels like it's very rare. I feel like the ones that we always tend to get are like, where the round diamond is 3 millimeters, but they only want it sized up like a half a size, or
right.
Down a half a size, and it's like, okay, well, it's just the math don't be mathing, ma'am. So this is what we got to do. Do you want to do it or not?
Yeah, you're either going up too far or down too far.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think one time it worked out magically where I was pretty proud of it, but I just hate doing them so much. But yeah, we don't even, if people come in asking, I guess, do you ever try to talk people out of it, or are you totally fine with just, I guess, because if you're doing it and hey, if I have to do it in the future, it's more, more work in the future work. But I don't know. I try to talk people out of it. I know that sounds terrible, but we're not salespeople. We're bench jewelers, so whatever.
I mean, one of the best things you can learn in the industry is when to say no,
Man, I'm so glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big part. And when you're young and hungry and you just opened your shop, you take anything on. But, I mean, you got to save yourself the headache sometimes.
Yeah, I think if you're listening to this, and whether you are new to this or have been doing it forever, I still think people struggle with when to say no and how to say no. We should do a whole episode on that.
Have we not?
I don't know. We've talked about it quite a bit. I mean, it comes up. Both of us worked for a family jeweler, for a guy who just never said no.
Mm-hmm.
And so thankfully, because I've worked in that environment, all it does is create so many more problems that you just don't have to have, which is exactly why you are, set up as by appointment, because it gives you the opportunity to say no at the end of the day. And maybe I'm oversimplifying, why and how you operate, but that's the way I see it.
That's pretty straightforward.
That's it, everybody. That's a wrap. Just say no. But seriously, though, it's like,
thank you for your appointment. No.
There are things we can do. Like, we all know Brad started out as a watchmaker for a long time, and we could easily take on more watch repair work. But
no, not easily.
I mean, yeah, not easily, but
I would hate it.
Yes, exactly. And that's the point, is it's going to make him miserable. I'm going to be miserable because I have to hear him whine about it.
I would be whining.
Customers those are the worst customers, because they're the ones that want to check on it constantly. So we just made the decision, even though we can definitely change movements in watches, and we still do occasionally, I think, if it's a good customer and it seems pretty straightforward. Yeah. But if we can't just, order the watch movement, install it, call it a day, knock it out, then we just say, sorry, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Even though we can, we don't.
My dad did a lot of watch repair, and when I say did a lot, I did it. But it was mostly crystals, crowns and stems, batteries, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just gotten away from that. I don't deal with watches at all except for batteries.
Oh, that's smart.
So people have to schedule an appointment to get a battery changed?
Yep.
How much you charge?
15.
Okay.
Nice.
Not bad. We went up to 20. You should consider it.
So do they call to... Yeah, I just interjected there. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You should go up to 20. Okay, next. Do they call you to set up an appointment, or is this something online that you have set up, or
everything? We take
work?
all the calls and schedule them specifically. And we've talked about going to a online style booking, but then you have to, basically, you have to be very diligent about when you're in and out. And it doesn't work if you have kids and you need to run out and go pick them up or take them to baseball or whatever.
Yep, makes sense.
So what you mentioned, kids. You just had. Well, I shouldn't say just had. How old is your youngest?
Just over a year and a half.
A year and a half. And if you don't mind me asking, what's your current age?
I'm 45.
So my
Dang,
man
I'm still
had
the oldest.
my man had a newborn at the age of 40,
43. Yeah.
43.
Nice.
Man, how's that taking its toll?
He's an exceptional kid, honestly. We got really, really lucky. He sleeps through the night after 6 months. We put him down at 8. He sleeps till 8, typically.
Dang.
There's the occasional wake up early and
Yeah.
get him fed. But overall, I got really, really lucky.
He's
just
on
a
my
really
sleep
good kid.
schedule.
Yeah.
I do the 8 to 8 myself.
If I text Brad after 9 p.m., I am not getting an answer until the next day.
Sure will.
It's
boy.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm up and sending him reels at like 1 a.m. and I'm like, I cannot wait till he sees this tomorrow at 9
when he's drinking his coffee.
So is that your boy or girl?
He's a boy.
So is that your only child?
So it's my fiance has 2 older boys that are 17 and 18, which is kind of funny
Okay.
that you call me stepdaddy Ron. Because, I'm over here stepdaddying.
Do they call you
they're good
stepdaddy
kids.
Ron?
No, they don't.
They should.
They should. Well, if we got you a T-shirt that said that.
There you go.
Okay.
He would wear it. I'm here and he would wear it.
That's all.
Oh, I would
that's all
wear it.
know.
Oh, yeah.
We
For
should
sure.
just see how many we can sell. People would be like, "What? Who?"
What is
Who's stepdaddy Ron?
Kelly
20 years
just
from now,
having
I'm
a
going to see one
stepdaddy
in a thrift shop.
I think three to four people who make sure they never miss an episode would all have stepdaddy Ron T-shirts that no one would understand on the planet.
Oh man!
Even their own family would be like, "Please take that
Stop
off."
wearing that, please.
What is this nonsense?
Oh man!
At
Well,
least don't wear it to church. Gosh, come on.
late congratulations on
Yeah, man.
having your
That's
first
awesome.
kid. Better late than never.
Thank you.
Brad's got 2 boys.
I do. Yep.
I got
One is driving now.
Oh, did he get his permit? Oh, he got his
That's scary.
permit.
Oh, dude, it's terrifying. He's
Well,
doing great though.
Well,
My
by the
wife
time
not so much.
by the time Ron's son gets his permit, he'll be like almost retired.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to retire in the next year or 2. Our lease is almost up. So
Wait, what?
I think I'm out.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I've done
Wait.
pretty well, and
You just bringing this
Yeah.
on
This is
us?
breaking news.
well, I say retire. I'll work from my basement. I've got a studio at the house that's pretty well equipped. I'm probably one of the only jewelers that has a laser welder at home.
dang. So you'll just have customers come to your house? I don't.
We'll see how that plays out. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm guessing is I'm going to take the website and just have it go to my phone and deal with it from that that aspect. I'll meet people at their house or however it works out. But yeah, I'll work from home.
Nice.
So when you say retire, you just mean just keep scaling back. So still just kind of doing jewelry, just kind of more on a smaller scale.
Well, my goal would be to engrave more. I really, really love engraving, and it's one of those things that I can lose myself in. It allows me, that ability to sit down at a bench and everything else just disappears and gives you that kind of, I don't even know what to call it, but it's a great place to be.
Well, I mean, the good news is so what we'll do is maybe we'll just wait until you kind of semi-retire, and then that's when you can, because we've discussed and I've seen some of your engraving work, and I really want one of those Spyderco knives, but I'm going to have to need about a year to save up for it because them things are insane.
I know.
It's absolutely insane.
It's wild the amount of work that goes into them, to be honest. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, little old me is just like, oh, well, what was that, like $50? Would you spend a half an hour on it? No, but when I've seen them, like I've always seen them, and yeah, they're obviously expensive because of the amount of time and labor that goes into them, but man, they are an absolute work of art. And one day I will own one, and I will be a proud owner of a Stepdaddy Ron Spyderco hand-engraved knife.
Man, that's a lot to
There you
say.
go. There you go.
You got to engrave that somewhere on it. In a secret place.
So you're going to do like a little side career, or are you just going to be able to maintain whatever quality of life that you want from your basement?
So, this is kind of a weird space to get into, but I've done very well over the years and made some very good decisions financially. So
Good.
Work is not necessarily something I have to do. It's something I love to do.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
the engraving and the, custom work and the casting and the stone setting, it's always something that I've been really, really into. So, I'll be more choosy about my projects as I move forward. And I've been collecting knives and firearms over the years to engrave with what I want to do, which is something that I don't ever get to do. And I'm sure you guys feel that.
Yeah.
You've got this skill set that, you can make things, but you don't necessarily make what you want to make because you have a line of people that want you to make stuff for them.
Correct.
So there's this big giant, hole of things that I'd love to do, but have never gotten the opportunity to actually execute.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I am not jealous at all.
No.
But that is
I was like,
super awesome.
my man Ron has lived the exact opposite life. I have not made good financial decisions.
So we are going to do this until we die.
And I hate work. So
No, I think we have a pretty sweet setup here.
We
I
do.
mean, as far as work goes, both of us have worked for other jewelers, and we're both first generation. And so I think we're constantly just carving out a way to do this and enjoy it. And it's an
important.
evolution,
Yeah. If you don't enjoy it, you're just coming to work every day with dread. And one of the reasons I take all the classes that I take is, I have to get out of the box. And the nice thing is you get to meet other jewelers. And I've met some really amazing people and people I've made really strong connections with over the last 15 years of these classes.
Do you want to talk about those? Because I know we've vaguely mentioned it, but talk about the classes you've taken and who you've taken them with, just so I don't mess anything up. It'll be a free ad for fill in the blank.
Okay. So I've done 5 classes at GRS. 2 of those were with Rex Peterson, who's an amazing instructor. I've done a class with Jake Newell for Bellino, which was great. Todd Daniels, I did one with as well, and Sam Alfano at New Approach. I took classes with, and I'm going to butcher his name, Jason Masciafarva. He goes by Jason Farva, who is the only person ever to be nominated a master jeweler from Tiffany's. And he's an amazing individual and really, really enjoys teaching, and you can see it. And at New Approach, I've done their comprehensive stone setting, advanced stone setting, pave, sculptural engraving, and the basic hand push, all of which I highly, highly recommend if you are into any of those things. Jason's just fantastic. And then I've taken a lot of classes under Jeff Park, which is actually my favorite place to go.
Where's he located?
He's in Mesa, right outside of Phoenix.
Okay.
Jeff is a different type of engraver and has made a living doing art engraving on Rolexes and knives. And his studio is a different space. Yeah, his work is just, you look at it and go, what the heck? How do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's crazy.
He's a little bit different. He's an artist, and he's very kind of reserved and quiet. And a lot of people don't realize that. They try to interact with him on Facebook, and his Facebook actually got hacked at some point. So his Facebook's just shut down. So he can't interact with you. So if you want to take a class with him, you need to direct message him on Instagram. Is the best way to get a hold of him. But his classes, he basically opens up his studio, it's a very, very unique space. It's very different than anything else you're going to go to. Opens it up at 8 a.m, and then you work from 8 until noon. You take an hour lunch, and then you go till 6 o'clock. And then after that, his studio's open kind of as late as you want it to be. He's got a TA that'll stay there and work with you till 9 o'clock at night if you want. Which is, for me, I go there because I can't engrave at work. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
And it just allows this great, amazing space for you to practice that skill. And it's very different comparatively. They're not trying to push tools on you. They're not trying to, sell you anything. It is all about the engraving.
Nice.
And are these like classes that are scheduled with other students, or is it like a one-on-one type thing?
All the classes I've taken have been scheduled with other students.
Okay.
Like for GRS, their typical class schedule. New Approach, same way. And Jeff's a little bit tougher because he doesn't have a website. You have to follow him and really, really pay attention to his schedule.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That is a good thing for people in the industry to hear. I'll say, I've said it, I only went to New Approach for 1 week, and that was the stone setting course. because I just felt like I needed to kind of learn some proper techniques after I left my old job. And man, it gets you like you said, out of the box. It gets you thinking a different way. It gets you meeting new people. It gets you making sure you're not going crazy. I mean, it's just all the things that rejuvenate you. So it's awesome that you've been able to kind of experience that kind of extended training outside of just the normal stuff that we do.
Yeah, it's really nice to it gets you back in the groove. You do this for so long and you size 1,000 rings and you just think to yourself, this is awful. This is all I'm doing. And then you go take these classes, you meet these people, and you're kind of back into the groove.
Now, do you find yourself, because you do like to hand engrave and you've obviously spent a lot of time and money on learning how to do it, do you find yourself when a client comes in and they're doing custom work, do you like push or suggest like, hey, we could engrave, the shank or, blah, blah, blah?
Yes, but it's not an inexpensive thing to do. Some customers are all about it. I've got this old, kind of Rubbermaid tote of all my practice plates that I'll drag out and kind of do the song and dance when the customers come in and they're doing custom work. And some of them fall in love with it and think it's amazing. And some of them kind of look at it and are like, why are you showing me this? You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Anytime I feel like I've ever brought it up, like, oh, it'd be cool if we did this, they're just like, no. And then they just like move right along. Like, and I don't even do it. I just, now I'm starting to meet people who do. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting so many people, adding you to the list. I'm hoping that somebody will ask me for some hand engraving so I can send you some business.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I really, really enjoy. And it's tough to get enough work to do that specifically. So I don't know if I'll ever be just a hand engraver, but I can hand engrave.
Yeah, no, I think if you're doing it for fun, like you said, out of your basement, the kind of projects you want, I think you would be surprised at, like if you finish a knife or an item and have a little small Shopify website, I think you'd be surprised at what people would be into.
Yeah.
Yeah. With any luck.
I mean, I'm going to buy one eventually. So me and Brad were talking about this. I think we did this early on, like our first couple of guests had like some questions for them, just standard questions to see what other jewelers are thinking. But I'm curious, if you're working, whether it be in the future in your basement or just in your shop and there's no appointments, are you listening to music or what are you listening to in general while you work?
So a lot of times nothing, to be honest with you. But YouTube, I go on YouTube Jags and I'll dig the depths of God knows what. I mean, I like to collect weird stuff. I've got an old soda machine, in my garage, and I'll just watch, basically all the YouTube videos on how to fix those parts. I've got a bunch of old cars, so I'll go through, how to replace an intake manifold on an 03 Crown Vic while I'm working, which sounds weird to the average person, but we're jewelers and we fix things. It's just, the way it is. Yep. So I keep most of my time, on the bench listening to things, to educational stuff, but I'm also the weirdo that reads the manual to the refrigerator that he buys. So
same.
I think if, I am guilty of, I'll prop my phone up and I'll just, especially for some reason, if I'm working on something intricate or like stone setting, I feel like I have to have something to, I don't know if it's background noise or distraction. I don't know, but I'm the same. I will just play a YouTube video. Even though we have music playing in the store, I will have YouTube playing. And I know, Brad, you watch your fair share of YouTube, but not while you're working, though.
No, because
did you ever? What about when you're doing watches at home? What did you do?
Same. YouTube. Man, it was so much better than working here.
No, it might have been better, but it wasn't as fun.
No, that's true.
You were working on watches. It was not better.
It was not better. Just the YouTube part.
Well, at least maybe one day you'll get to, maybe one day this year, you'll get to, when you're scrolling YouTube while you're doing your hand engraving, you'll get to see me and Brad's face.
There we go.
It's coming soon. Mm-hmm. I mean, with that said, I'm not trying to end this by any means, but what I am going to do is take just a moment for, at least for me and Brad on our behalf, to say, thank you for your support and not only just listening, participating, but obviously we haven't mentioned it this episode, which we never do, but the Buy Me a Coffee link is just kind of our intro into kind of how we can keep this going. And I'll let you elaborate, and this feels weird to ask you to do this, but you did send me a message on like, hey, here's the reason I'm offering some type of support for what you guys are doing. And it was essentially, I just wanted you guys to not get discouraged. If you want to elaborate, cool. If not, then I'll make it less awkward and talk about something else.
I really like what you guys are doing. And it's great to listen to, and I can highly relate to everything that you guys say. And what I was really worried about is you guys would do 5 episodes and go, this just isn't taking off, and it's not what what we thought it was going to be. So I made a couple of contributions that I hope will help you guys continue to do what you're doing and expand your project. I think it's a really good project, and it actually kind of gives the back industry of jewelry a voice, which isn't a thing. And that's why I have bought coffees so much.
That's awesome, man. Because we say it over and over again. We would do it if nobody listened. So it's an outlet. It's fun. I'm too far away from the mic, apparently.
You have been most of the time, but whatever.
I just looked at Dusty.
Maybe I shouldn't do that motion anymore.
Anywho,
I gotta read.
But yeah, man, we certainly appreciate it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no. If we haven't made it clear, genuinely, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. I know some people giving like $5, and it means a lot that you would take an extra step and click a button and just be like, hey, here's some money because I enjoy the show. Because we do want to, now that it has, I shouldn't say taken off, but it's got some traction, and we feel like we've kind of getting into a groove here, and we're like already thinking about the future. And like we said before, all the future things, they take time and they take money. And while we have a shop that's open to the public, it does limit us in some way. But we're starting our second month of really being only open to the public 4 days, and essentially this one day we close now is. Yes, we get work done. We worked from, probably 9:30 to 12:30 until we hopped on with you. And we get so much work done when there's people not in here. But also we wanted to allow time for us to make this a priority in our life and in our schedule. Doing the podcast, making memes and whatever, being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Keep it up.
Thanks, man.
When you retire, then you can just travel and you can just come down here once a month and just hop on in person, right?
There you go.
Have you ever been? I can't say where have you ever been.
It's funny. I followed you guys for years before you started this, and I told you this the other night. When my son was in utero, you guys posted a picture of my bench with a little baby in front of it, and I went, "That's my bench." And it was one of those. Immediately I start texting my jeweler friends. You're bench jeweler memes, aren't you? And that kind of started my fascination with you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wonder how long ago that was. I can't even keep track of when we technically started it. And I think we were a little, I think we were a little more looser back in the day when we first started, because I think I was like, oh, there's only 12 people seeing this. I can do whatever I want.
Right. Yep.
And now it's now everything I post, I'm like, oh, man.
How will this play?
To a certain extent, I don't really care.
Should we focus group this?
Yeah.
That's what Dusty says now.
Yeah, that's what I say. But it's also the reason why I think we joked so much early on about, we should get a paid sponsor. And then we realized man, that just comes with strings attached. And I'm not saying that we won't. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like this just being a little more organic. The Instagram started organic, and the podcast started organic. And so part of me just kind of wants to keep it that way, for better or worse. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see if I can afford it.
Yeah, we're going to need those. No. You've done your fair share, and you got our silly, very silly thank you gift. Hopefully you got it in person already. I think it got delivered. I haven't, to your mailbox.
But we're not the best about opening up the box. It's a locked box, so it's probably just sitting in there.
Same,
dude. We do the same exact thing. I hate checking the mail because I know it's going to be either it's going to be bills or some work to do
or catalogs
or a catalog. Yeah,
full of quality gold catalogs.
Yep.
So y'all, I wonder how they're going to send you all the quality gold catalogs when you go to your basement. They'll find you.
I'm sure they'll still send them.
The quality gold always finds jewelers. They're like, I heard
Well,
you
it's
dabble.
funny.
Here's some
I live
12
on
catalogs.
I live on a 3-acre property with a 700-foot driveway, and UPS and FedEx are always leaving stuff at the driveway. And a lot of times there's, jewelry stuff in there that it's one of those, it gets dropped off, and I'm like, geez, guys, come on.
Ooh,
That would annoy me so bad. I'm not
No,
going
it's
to lie.
not. It makes me real angry.
Yeah.
man.
So I guess you don't. I've noticed every area is a little different. Like they prefer FedEx or UPS, but like here, like we have the best UPS guy. As far as I don't mean like the best. He's not. He's an interesting character. He's gonna hear us one day. Because he probably listens to the podcast. While he's
I'm
driving
sure
around.
he does not listen to us.
How Joey does it. But FedEx is like by far the worst because them in the post office, they'll just like here, just lay it outside the door before opening hours or after hours, and it'll just sit there all night.
Yep.
We'll set it by the road. It'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Gosh.
You got to get your driver's cell phone numbers like we have.
There you go.
And then just be like, hey, drive down the driveway, buddy. Drop it off at my porch.
Is that what you would tell them?
Yeah, I would text them and say, hey, I need this delivered to my porch. At least our UPS guy knows because obviously we're a jewelry store, so he knows that he's got something. Actually, a lot of times it's absolutely nothing important, but he treats it like it is. Like, thank you so much for making sure this was a priority of your day. It is a stickers for bench stiller means. It's not
Top
diamonds.
priority.
Not diamonds. All right, I'm trying to think if we had anything that we just needed to get to today. We didn't do shop talk. Should we pause for shop talk?
Shop talk.
Shop talk, where we talk shop talk. Let's talk shop. Woo!
All right, that's good. You want to start first, Ron? You want to talk shop talk? How's your shop looking? How's your repair basket looking? What's on the agenda for the next week? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Let's hear it.
I'm pretty caught up currently. I got probably 4 customs that are in the pipeline for this week, and probably 2 more that are coming up. And I try to get my repairs done as fast as possible. In fact, if it's a simple repair, I'll do it for them while they're there, just so I don't have to book them a second appointment to deal with them. If it's a chain solder or an earring post, I'm doing it right now, because if I don't, it creates a whole nother problem for me to get them back in the shop.
So how do you guys handle that? So let's say it's just a ring sizing. They have to book a second appointment to pick it up, try it on, pay for it?
Yeah. So when we complete it, we call them and, give them, hey, this has been completed, and we book a time for them.
Oh, nice. Man.
So on the days that let's say it's a simple, if it's a simple chain solder, is that something you're like, hey, how long are your appointments booked so that hey, I can just go ahead and fix the chain if you guys want to have a seat?
Typically I book them for 15 minutes to a half hour, just in like design appointments. I usually do for an hour, just because it's, a little bit more in depth, and you have to sit down and kind of read the person, get an idea of what they want. But an average repair drop off or pickup, we book for 15 minutes, and there's 2 of us, so we can kind of double book sometimes.
And so if you see, hey, it's just a simple chain, if your sister's taking the job in, she could just say, hey, can you just want to hang out for 15 minutes and you just knock it out? I'm assuming you're lasering it at that point.
I don't laser a lot of chain. I use my laser specifically for like platinum sizings. If it's a cable chain, I'll use the laser just because it's a simple
nice and
laser
clean
deal. Tips I use it for almost specifically, channel rebuilds specifically. Every once in a while I'll solder a tip, but it's only if it's like, usually I'll do it on a sapphire, specifically because I don't want to pull the sapphire, and sapphires are really, really sensitive to laser.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you rocking the same laser at work as at home?
So at work I have a Rolfin that is 100 joule, and at home I've got a Laser Star.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you have a preference?
So my actual preference, so we got into lasers in, I want to say 05, 06, and my dad was always really, really good about finding tools in not so normal places. So he went to a dental convention, and before Orotig was selling lasers to the jewelry industry, he bought the original Orotig laser for like 12 grand back in 05, 06, 07, whatever
dang.
that was, which back then was like cheap for those. I mean, you couldn't get a laser for under 20 grand.
Oh yeah.
And they wanted him to rep the lasers, and he didn't want to do that. He's got other stuff going on. But shortly thereafter, they entered the jewelry market and started selling the Orotig on the jewelry market. But they do not have the gold box; they have a ceramic chamber. So upkeep and maintenance is much more simple.
Nice. That's awesome.
We're gonna have. We hope to have at least a couple representatives from laser companies. Who's the company that Stellar bought out?
B&D.
B&D. So we hope to
And
have
they are
someone,
excellent to work with.
dude. Yeah, I would imagine so. We hope to have somebody on from there, and then we're gonna hopefully have Adam Kaysen on from CISMA, and then we'll see who else we can get just to talk lasers. I think it's such an important tool for bench jewelers to have, which is so funny because when me and Brad were at our old job, we worked with this old Armenian jeweler who was just like old school everything, and he was great at so many things, but man, he hated the thought of lasering anything. It was so comical.
It would be so inferior to a torch in his eyes.
Like, I can size them way faster, way better, and he like refused to use it. But that was also like 20 years ago or something like that. I don't know. But I love my laser.
Sure.
Yeah, I couldn't work without it. That's for sure.
Yeah, once you like really embrace it and see all that it is capable of, and like you said, you can, if you want to focus it on, like, I'm using it for platinum and retipping, it obviously pays for itself. I forced myself because when I first opened my shop, it was like, man, this was such a big expense, and I was so scared to purchase it. So I forced myself, like, I'm going to use this as much as possible so that I don't feel like I wasted my money. And man, I'm ready trying to figure out how we can get a second one.
Well, and Stellar's really good about offering like 0% on their lasers. When we got ours, I want to say we got 0% and we paid it off in like 9 months. I mean, people do not realize how much money they generate.
And for me, it was it wasn't like we were taking in more jobs. It was just the efficiency of like, I can do these prongs and solder these chains way faster, a lot less cleanup. And I was just amazed at how much more efficient I could be, which is hard to measure in dollars, but like it's a lifesaver,
It's one of those, I don't know that I would be faster or more efficient with the laser sizing yellow or white gold. Platinum, surely, and you definitely aren't going to damage your stones. But I'd like to see a race, somebody who's been on the bench for 10 or 15 years sizing down 10 rings versus somebody on the laser sizing down 10 rings.
Yeah, and for me,
I think it would always be the torch that would win that.
I would assume.
Yeah.
I would think specifically in ring sizings, I could agree that a torch is faster. I think the thing that we forget to factor in is there's still a seam of solder in there.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
if you fuse it.
Now you could argue fusing is even faster and even better. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't know if you see the guy, Ron. He's in George. Yes.
Yep.
I think his videos are the best. We should try to figure out a way to get him on. He would be a great guest. I love him because he's just like, hey, this is how I do it, and he makes everything look so easy. Even stuff that I know how to do, I'm like, why did he make it look easier than when I do it?
Because he's better.
I will say, I saw one of his videos, and I wouldn't say I've started fusing white gold rings, but I've definitely done it more often. Although it seems like there's more waste involved, but we capture the waste and we sell it later on. So, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I enjoyed about, when we were talking with Chuck, is there's so many different, I was hoping that was the takeaway, is not that if we have someone on and they say this is how I do it, we're not saying that is the best way, but it might be the best way for you, and the best way for me might be a little different. And I know we're beating the dead horse, but if you do the job correctly, then there are multiple ways to do it. And there's very few times when I see somebody, do something and I'm like, that's just wrong. Like, that's not right. And I'm sure it happens, and I'm sure we can all think of examples, but generally speaking, there's multiple ways to do a job.
Always more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Were you about to say something?
Nope.
I could have swore I just heard you breathe and I'm about to say something.
I mean, in the end, whatever works fastest for you, best for your customer, most economical. I mean, at this point, we're talking about in the world we live in, the materials we use are $5,000 an ounce and $2,000 an ounce.
Yeah.
So, you got to take that into consideration too.
Yeah. I mean, with the price of gold, I've said this before, but I think there was like this brief time, and maybe it was, a few years ago, within the last 5 years, where people had more money and gold was, you could argue artificially low, or you can now say that it's artificial. I don't know. I'm not here to make that argument, but I felt like gold and jewelry was so easy to obtain that now it almost wasn't a luxury item anymore, and now it's back to being a true luxury item.
Well, it's funny, when my dad had his shop, he actually would buy like gold chain by the kilo, which to me is just wild to think about. It's astronomical. A tiny little gold chain is $400 now.
Yeah, and that's like the chains are the one thing that I hate to purchase, because we just have a small little display of them because I can't afford just to keep a whole crap ton of them on hand. But when we start selling a few and I have to go reorder like 5 or 6, 10 chains, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, it feels so painful to do. And they're harder to sell now because people are like, I want this little chain. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking $100, $200. And I'm like, yeah, a couple years ago it was. Now it's $400.
Yep.
Yeah, tiny little box chains, $400 or $500. It's nuts.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely, and people and truthfully, like the customers, they're shocked, but they don't understand. Like, we're shocked too. Like, right. when I have to say the price out loud, and I know what the price was a year ago or 2 years ago, like, it feels uncomfortable to say.
Like, that's just FYI, it's a $700 chain.
And especially we're having it with I think it just happened last week with the people coming like, I just want to get my my son's turning 14 and I want to get him a gold chain, and I'm like, I don't think you do actually.
You really don't.
I mean, you definitely want to, but I don't think you realize what you're asking. And then we're the bad guys, because we came up with these outrageous prices.
How dare you try to make a living and retire and feed your children?
Well, we cornered the gold market, and that's why the prices are so high.
Yeah. Jewelers, yeah. We knew exactly what we were doing the whole time.
The worst.
All right, so let's see here. We talked shop talk. Brad, actually, you didn't. How's your basket looking today? Not too bad.
It's pretty good.
I'm doing very well, actually. But so what I'm working on is the thing I saved for last, right before we hopped on this call. I'd set one single solitaire. Is a 11 stone band, and it's going to alternate sapphires and diamonds. The issue is all the sapphires are being provided by the customer. I did post on my story just recently a picture of it because these are the worst cut sapphires I have ever seen.
Big
They're
old
all
bellies
different.
on them.
Yep. And now I have to set them. I have to set 6 of them. And I spent probably 20 minutes just to get one set in there to where I'm happy with it. But all the other ones following are all different color, different shades of blue,
different sizes.
And I'm like,
oh yeah,
I am dreading this so bad. I think it's due in like 2
days. Get out your bulbers.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it is. I was actually glad when I was like, it's like 12. I should probably just, stop working on this and get all this stuff set up for next week. Hang out with Ron because I do not want to do this.
Way more fun than sitting.
Well, I'll tell you, when I'm working on a job that starts frustrating me, I'll set it down and come back the next day.
Oh,
I mean, there's nothing worse than messing something up because you're angry with it or frustrated.
Yep.
Give it a day. Go get something to eat. Go sleep. Come back fresh the next day and go back after it.
Yeah,
that's a good tip.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those where I text the lady and say, hey, I'm just going to need a few more days on it because I know after I set 2 or 3 of these sapphires, I'm going to be over it. I'm probably going to end up setting like 2 sapphires a day and then just working on other stuff and then coming back to it. I know me because I already hate it. I hate looking at it.
Call her in 2027, tell her it's done.
That's right. She'll love it.
Oh, and I'm going to try to set all the sapphires first because I know when I start setting the diamonds that they're all going to it's just going to look so weird. So I'm going to have to set them probably much higher, just so they look like they match when you look at the ring. Anyway, that's enough of shop talk because I'm getting irritated.
Now you're frustrated.
We should have a grumpy version of shop talk. The jingle.
It's a sad song. Dude, what were we watching earlier?
Cue the sad one right now.
We had while we were working, we had YouTube on actually, and I think it was some whiskey tuber, but they started talking. Oh, they started talking about watches and Rolexes. Is that what they were talking about?
Yeah, so they were just two guys talking about bourbon and how crazy bourbon tube is
and bourbon collecting, yeah,
and just the collectors, like it's very strict. Like, oh, if you're not cleansing your palate with limestone water from Kentucky, you're not doing it right. And the guy literally said, well, if you think that's bad, you should check out WatchTube, which he said watch collectors are insane. I was like, yeah, no kidding, dude.
Yeah.
They sure are.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, you already mentioned it. You're a collector of things. What are all the things you're into collecting?
Oh, I got problems. Old
let's hear
jewelry
it.
tools. At this point, I've got 5 refrigerators at the house, but they're not really a collection. They're just full of stuff. I got like 9 cars. I got I don't know, 30 watches, guns.
Dang,
It gets ridiculous.
man.
So how do you
Anything that I can fix, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I understand that. And so, how does your significant other handle this collection?
You know, she makes fun of me about it. Honestly, it's we often joke about old crappy cars that I find on Facebook Marketplace, and she'll send me them late night, and you know, our tastes are a little different. She sent me a Pontiac Sunbird the other day.
Nice.
Just the epitome of, oh my gosh.
Dude, there is no, I don't know though. Brad would be, this is why Brad's not on Facebook, because he would have a problem. I think, maybe not. But man, there is something about when you get on Facebook Marketplace, you just don't know what you're going to see. And then you'll just find yourself like, do I need that? I could probably.
Oh yeah, you need that. Well, here's another one of my little collections here.
Is that a gator?
Yeah, it's just a little golf cart I bought.
Oh, golf cart.
Yeah, it's, got to go get the mail and take the trash out.
Well, yeah. And you don't want to walk 10 miles down to the road.
700 feet down to the mailbox.
That's gonna come in handy when FedEx and UPS drop off those 2-carat diamonds at the end of your driveway.
That's right.
Oh man, I think let's flesh this out, because I don't know of any women who are big into collecting things. Is it just a guy thing that we just? I don't know. There's something about like we just have to be into something.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it satisfies that itch. It's that hunt that we don't get. The hunter gatherer. I think.
Yep. I think that's it. Yep. Because you're trying to find like a specific thing to complete your collection.
Right.
Which is why I do not have one of those Spyderco knives that are hand engraved, but. Had a season where I'm just like, I just kind of want a bunch of knives for some reason.
Dude, and you were on
I do have a
Amazon
bunch
every
of knives
day.
too. Yeah.
Well, but I'm good because it's like, I know there's nice, expensive knives out there, and I know like I have no business doing that. So I can't control myself, and I'll be like, I just want different kind of knives, but I'm not trying to spend a fortune. But here I am trying to figure out how to spend a fortune on a knife.
The downside to having real expensive knives and guns and whatever is you can't use them. They just sit there.
And you look at them, and then you have your friends over, and you're like, look at this. And then most of the time, they're just like, oh, that's cool, man.
They're like, can I shoot it?
They have no idea what they're looking at. No, don't even touch it.
I just want you to look at it because it's cool.
Get it.
Keep it in that plastic bag. Don't get your fingerprints on it.
But look how cool it is, though. So that's what I need you to focus on here, wife and friend.
All right. Gosh.
You thinking about ever selling these? Oh, absolutely not.
Definitely not. You take something to one of your buddies that you think is, the best thing on the planet. He just looks at you like, it's a knife. I don't know what you want.
Right.
So what do? You just open up Amazon boxes with it? Pretty much, yes. That's exactly what I do with it. I did have a proud moment, which you're gonna have these moments too. You got a almost 2-year-old, and my oldest boy is just turned 11, and so it was like a month or two ago. I had a knife or something out, and I was like, hey, let me just show you, because I had different ways to open knives, and I'm like, hey, let me just show you how to open these knives, and like just practice opening it and closing it, safely. And for some reason, he just enjoyed that so much.
One day, maybe. At this point, he's a little danger muffin. If he can hurt himself, he will.
Just hand him a knife. Just teach him how to open it.
Dude,
so at my dad's shop, we had Victorinox. So we had pocket knives. And I had a customer hand like a 4-year-old a pocket knife, and he ran it right down the middle of his hand. It was one of those like, oh my gosh moments.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This will be a funny way to end this if people get this far along. But speaking of like your knives and guns and stuff, so just this past weekend, I took a couple of the boys out to shooting. One had been shooting with me before, but it had been a few years, and the other one had not. But and before, because I hadn't been shooting in so long, so I got everything out, and I was going to clean it, make sure everything was good. But it turned into like a 2-hour lesson on like gun and knife safety. And then while we were driving there, I made them like watch like a 15-minute video on it, because the closer it got time to actually handing them a firearm, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to drill in safety, because I'm going to die today if I don't.
Yes.
It's the most important part.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, Brad, Ron, and eventually, speaking of children, I do have to head home to go take a child to drum lesson. But we got a couple minutes. If there's any final closing thoughts, Brad, that you have?
No, this was awesome.
This is what I hope this is just getting to know other jewelers, just talking, chatting. Obviously, love hearing about your history and what you're into, and sharing some little nuggets. But I think this is the heart of when we have a guest on. Like, this is what we want it to look like. Let's just hang out and talk. Ron, any final thoughts, questions, comments?
I have a question. Why would you sign your son up for drum lessons?
So a lot of people say that.
Glutton for punishment, man.
Right?
So we had this conversation just recently, because we were telling someone that, so we have 5 kids. The oldest is a girl, the last 4 are boys. And because the oldest boy plays drums, they all play drums. And we actually have 2. I feel like now I'm going to become a drum collector. We now have 2 full drum sets in our house, a small one and a full size one. And they're not electronic. They're acoustic drums. But when you get to when your kids are actually like into it, now granted the small ones are definitely just banging on the drum to make noise, but they start picking up on what their older siblings are doing. So they're actually pretty decent. And so when you're downstairs and you're hearing, one of your kids, play a song or blast the music, and they're keeping a beat, it's actually pretty cool. It is loud though. I will admit.
So you're a sadist.
Yeah. Feels like it sometimes. Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
But it's so fun though. It really is. Now we have electric guitars that are coming up in the house, and you can hear him up there. My one son that strums his electric guitar does not know how to play anything with his left hand, but he has mastered the right hand in strumming and turning the amp up really loud. It's all fun and games.
It's all fun and games till it's not.
I just hope and pray that your son is into drums, guitars, guns, everything loud. I hope he gets into.
Well, one of the older stepkids has 9 guitars or something like that.
Dang.
And he goes after it.
Perfect. You're raising these boys to just follow in our footsteps of just collecting stuff for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Ron, man, this has been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your maybe not so busy schedule today. Since you have a calendar, you can clear it. And now me and Brad have goals and things to look forward to. And so we will obviously be in touch. And like we tell every guest, I don't know when, but you're always welcome back in the future if you'll have us.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to.
I mean, it's his studio.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Obviously,
Yes,
he's welcome.
We're going to do a fake sign off, and then we'll talk for a minute. So it's fine. This is going to be part of the podcast. But in a moment, we're going to tell you bye, but you cannot hang up, okay?
Okay.
All right. Brad?
What?
Did you have fun?
I did.
All right. I had fun. Ron, did you have fun?
Oh, yeah. This is the best.
We have fun. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And just a reminder, since we're talking, if you like this episode and want to hear more, want to see us grow and do video podcasting, there is a link in the description to buy me a coffee. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Maybe one day we'll get monetized. In the meantime, just thanks for contributing. Thanks for commenting. You guys have a great day.
Well, that's another one done. Time to pack it in. Brad and Dusty signing off with a tired grin. Got stones to set and problems to fix before we're through. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll complain to you next week too. Back to the bench. Back to the bench. Where the size and jobs are endless and the deadlines make you clench. We'll be right here, torch in hand. Two guys trying to understand why every ring's an heirloom and every rush job's played. Back to the bench. See you next week.
A what?
Or do you want to be featured as just us rambling at the end of the podcast again, Ron?
Sure.
That's the best part.
Okay.
That is the best part.
I started doing it as an accident. Not as an accident. I just wanted to just hurry up and get record so I wouldn't forget. And I was like, I wonder what... Because sometimes before I started doing that, Brad would start singing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to try to hope to capture it, but now he knows I do it.
Yep. So I ain't falling for that no more.
No, he's not. Okay. All right. We'll do the little clap test. Actually, no, we'll count it down, Brad. 3.
2. What are you doing clapping?
I'm about to... I got to sync up the audio with him and us.
Did we do that the last time?
Yes, sure did.
Glad you know.
3, 2, 1. All right. Now we're good to go.